Yo, 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 what is going on? RoK Familia, it is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are going to answer one of Rise of Kingdom's most requested question that I see posted. I cannot tell you how many times per day on the RoK Discord, along with my DMs, questions I'll get on the Discord server, and I'm hoping this video will be a nice forever long-lasting kind of one-and-done explanation on how to figure this information out, because as long as the algorithm system does not change, which it hasn't thus far, this video will be relevant potentially for however long RoK lasts and is up and running. So today we're going to answer, how do you figure out when a new kingdom opens or a new group set of kingdoms? With that in mind, before we get started, and we're going to show you exactly how to figure this out, make sure if you enjoyed the content, you sub, like, ring the notification bell, and if you want to join and be a part of our conversation, hit up the Discord. You can find a link to that in the description, pinned comment down below. Okay, so the first thing we have to figure out from here is you can do this from any account. You just load into the game, you zoom out, you click the globe here on the bottom right, and we pretty much have to go to the prep season so we can look at the newest servers / kingdoms that have been released. Then what we're going to do is we're going to click on a few of these, and we're going to find out what the averages are in between. Because one, there's two pieces of information we need in order to use this information in advantageous ways. One, we need to find out what the average opening time is. And then two, we need to find out what the range times are for earliest to latest openings. And I'm going to give you a short way on how to do this, and I'll also recommend how many intervals you should probably figure out to get a good average. So what we're going to do here is we looked at two kingdoms, right? So we're looking at 2817, which is 2 days and 10 hours, 42 minutes old. We have 2816, same. Typically these operate in groups of two. And then you have 2815, 4 days, 21 hours. 2814, the same. 2813, 7 days, 17 hours. 2812, 7 days, 17 hours. 2811, 10 days, 3 hours. 2810, 10 days, 3 hours. And then you have 2809, which is 12 days and 13 hours. So what we do is we go ahead and we put together the intervals, right? In this case, it would be 2 days, 10 hours, 4 days, 21 hours, 7 days, 17 hours, 10 days, 3 hours, and then lastly, 12 days and 13 hours. And then what we do is we try and figure out what those averages are. Now, I've already done the math, so I'm just going to kind of switch the screen and I'll show this to you. So when we look here at the Word doc, you'll see starting from the top, you have the intervals here, or excuse me, you have the length of time that they've been open for on each of the sets. Then what we have is we have the time in between the sets opening. So in this case, the sets 17, 16 are 2 days and 11 hours and 10 minutes between, or when they opened, after 28, 15, and 14 were released. Then 14 and 15 released 2 days and 19 hours and 30 minutes after 28, 13, and 12 were released, and so on and so forth. You get the picture. Once you figure out these averages, then you need to figure out what is the hours, or convert this to hours. And for this, right, I just am simply using like 10, 20, 30, 40, 60 minute increments, so I can do an easy 1/5, 2/5, 1/6, 2/6, 1/3, 1/2, 2/3, 5/6. Right, you get the picture. And then that's how you kind of figure out your point numbers here. Then, once you have these numbers, you add each of these up, the 59.16, 67.5, 59.5, 57.83, and you get this number, 243.99. You then divide that by 4 to get the median average, and that gives us 60.9975. That, rounding up, I just did to 61 because it's so close, and that's our average interval time between when new kingdoms will open after the recent ones have been released. And then once you have the average, you then need to figure out what's the window, right? What's the give or take? and between when a kingdom could open at its earliest from recent data to its longest. And that's what we figure out here at the bottom. So you see 57.83. Remember, this is only off of 5 pieces of data sets that we're doing in-betweens. I would recommend maybe doing anywhere from 4 to 6 so you can get the most recent averages, right? Just to make sure that the information is consistent, because what you have to keep in mind is that kingdoms are opening based on the number of people that are downloading a game, right? And essentially that are populating into a new kingdom, whether or not that factors into monument rewards being hit at certain early intervals. The important part is that the biggest factor really goes into downloads, because that's the majority of the population that's going to be put into the newest kingdom that's open at that moment, right? To then push to the threshold of where it'll then trigger the next kingdom or set of kingdoms to open. So what we know is that at the moment, 61 hours is the average time when a kingdom will open, but the range is 57.83 hours to 67.5. That's almost about a 10-hour window from when a kingdom could open to the latest. Now, if you think about, if you have, for example, some jump projects that are going to these 2 kingdoms, maybe yours is one, another is the other sets, then there's a chance that can get pushed a little bit sooner, just because you're bringing in an influx of players into them, even with the jumper limit, right? You're still helping push that forward a bit. So just something to keep in mind. But this is a very short way of how you can figure out this information, and I hope that this helps anyone and everyone going forward, because even though you cannot figure it out to the second, to the minute, and sometimes maybe even to the hour, you can at least get a range to help anticipate when you are planning to start, when you're planning to jump, and just for anyone who wants to know how you can figure out when new kingdoms are going to open, at least to the closest and most accurate way that you can. This is the best way to do that. With that being said, I hope anyone and everyone found this helpful. It is a little bit of work to figure it out, not too much, but a bit. And for anyone who has any comments, any feedback, please let me know anything and everything in those comments down below. Did you find this helpful? Do you use this already? Do you have another method that, again, is maybe outside of this? We'd love to hear, especially myself. With that being said, that's it for me. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.